your, we're also recording. Put in an emoji in the chat to just show how you're feeling today. And if you feel inclined, please put your name and where you're from. Also, as people trickle in, hey Mel. If you want more resources, please visit our website at bestpractices.nokidhungry.org. We're going to get started in a few minutes. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're about to get started. As we wait for a few more participants to join, please feel free to add your name, your state, your program into the chat and an emoji. And thank you so much for joining. All right, everybody, I think we're going to get started. My name is Janine Rios, and thank you so much for joining this webinar. We are just going to jump right in. Next slide, please. So if you're looking for the student voices on the menu webinar, you've come to the right place. Today, you're going to hear from a number of student speakers. We're going to start you off with Gabriel from here in Texas. And Mel's going to introduce him from the Josh Howard Foundation. We're going to hear from Gavin Lee, all the way from Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're going to hear from Ezekiel, who is in Sabinal ISD here in Texas as well. And then we're going to hear from Jada Kurd, and she is from Burke County, Georgia, but she's currently a sophomore at Vanderbilt University. And she has done a number of public speaking engagements, so it's just going to be a treat all around. I'm the moderator, Janine Rios, and next slide. So just a few housekeeping information. For those of you who are wondering, the webinar will be recorded. The recording and the slides will be sent to you a few days after the webinar. It's also going to be located on the Center for Best Practices. If you missed the email and you're checking back a week later or so, you can find it at the Center for Best Practices at the website here. During the webinar, if you have questions, please put them in the Q&A box. If you put them in the chat, I'll still find them, but we appreciate it if you can put them in the Q&A box. And then after the webinar is over, you will receive a survey. If you can please, it's about 3 or 4 questions, just fill it out. It'll help us to do better on the next webinar and to get your feedback. Next slide. Just a few resources that I wanted to highlight that you will be receiving as well. We have a student feedback toolkit that you'll have access to. If you do not receive our What's New newsletter, you can sign up at this link. And then when you sign up, there's an option for a school meals newsletter, and that's the Breakfast Bites. And so you can sign up for that as well. Next slide. Also in 2002, with the support and expertise from FM3 Research, we did do a study talking to about 1,000 teens across the nation. So if you want to access that report, you can click on this link here. And one of the biggest highlights and something that stood out to me was that knowing that they like the food was the biggest motivator to get students to eat the meals. And I think next slide, but don't start the slide yet. Okay, so as we see this next video, I first wanted to introduce Mel Jackson. She's Executive Director of the Josh Howard Foundation, and she's been in that position for about 12 years now. And under her leadership, the foundation has successfully launched and expanded critical programs such as after-school initiatives for at-risk youth and summer meals programs. ensuring that all the students receive healthy and nutritious meals year round. And they rave about those meals, everyone. I've been to the program. They love them. And Mel is also an author of Blessings and Broken Places, a memoir that's been published in 2021, reflecting her insights and experiences in life and community service. I've had the privilege of working with Mel in a number of projects, and I just want to pass it to her as she introduces our first guest.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Janine. Oh, you're so sweet. I'm so elated and so honored to be a part of this. I truly appreciate you guys for always keeping me in the loop and looking for opportunities to bring me in and allow me to be a partner and to be a voice and to be helpful with anything that you guys have going on. So just know I don't take these opportunities lightly. I'm excited. So yes, I'm Mel Jackson. Hello, everyone. As Janine said, I'm the executive director of the Josh Howard Foundation, and Janine and I had the pleasure of interviewing one of the students that's connected to our program. He's a fifth grader from Denton, Texas. He attends Nelson Elementary, and his name is Gabriel Malone. And so it was such a joy interviewing Gabriel at 10 years old, just getting to hear a 10-year-old perspective on school meals. It was very, very enlightful. It was very, very enlightful. And I really, really enjoyed being a part of that. So we hope you guys enjoyed as much as we did. And here we go.
My name is Gabriel, and I'm 10 years old. I'm from Denton, Texas.
Okay.
Couple things that I enjoy doing is I like playing video games, listening to music, and playing outside.
That's awesome. And do you enjoy the meals at your school?
Yeah, I like the meals.
That's good.
Some of the meals I don't like, some of them I do. It's depending on what it is.
Mm-hmm. And do you usually eat breakfast at home, or are there days when you go to school early and you eat at school?
There's some days where I go to school and I eat breakfast.
What are your favorite breakfast foods that they serve?
Probably they serve Fruity Pebbles, and different like cereals.
Do you like the cereals?
Yeah. They also have a breakfast sandwich. Usually it's like sausage and cheese. They give us jelly and they serve us fruit cups.
Every time we talk about food, it gets me hungry. Is there do you think that you have enough time? Do they give you enough time to eat the meal?
Yeah, they give us a decent amount of time.
Good. And is there anyone that you talk to that works at the cafeteria? Like, do you know the people that work there? Do they talk to you? Do they know your name?
I mean, they know my name from previous times from ordering my food. And yeah.
Okay. Cool. On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like the worst food ever and 10 being the best food ever, what would you rate just the breakfast at your school? What do you think it is? Like the quality.
I would give it probably a 6.
What do you wish that they did differently?
I mean, give us more options.
Okay. That's what we hear a lot from students. So tell me more about like some options you would like.
Maybe they could serve like mini donuts. Or they could do a different type of sandwich. Bacon, scrambled eggs.
So more variety. I'm hearing you say students like you would like more variety. Do you think other students would like that too if they had more choices?
Yeah. I think they would like different options like that.
And do you think the time has anything to do with it? So in some schools, they have this thing called breakfast after the bell. So you go to campus, you go to school, and then you go to your classroom, and then they bring breakfast. Do you think that would be helpful at your school?
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful for people that's waking up late
Mhm.
and is in a rush to get to school, but when they get to school, it's already time for them to start class.
Mhm. Do you feel that the meals are healthy and balanced? Is that even a concern to you?
I mean, I wouldn't like a lot of junk food.
Mm.
But I feel like it's balanced out. They give you fruit on the side and other
Mhm.
options and healthy alternatives.
Mhm. That's
And
good.
yeah,
It sounds like they're pretty healthy.
yeah,
That's good. And it sounds like you look out for your health.
yes, I do.
Yeah. Do you do any sports? Are you involved in any type of activities at school
At school,
or after
uh,
school?
after school activities, I do basketball.
Mhm. So we are going to move on to lunch and just talk a little bit about that. How is the setup at your school? Do you have one lunch period? Do you have more than one lunch period? What does that look like? Like, explain it to everybody.
We have one lunch period.
How many grades have to eat lunch at that time?
Um, that's just our lunch. That's our
Grade?
lunch period.
Okay, got it. Cool.
Um, but every grade eats lunch.
Gotcha. At a different time.
Yes, at different time.
What type of meals do they serve at the lunchtime?
They serve anywhere from cheese pizza to chicken.
Mhm.
Um, Today we had chicken, chicken soft taco,
Uh-huh.
and then we have other options that we could choose from like it's usually like the main option is usually something like pizza, chicken, and then we have other options like salads and sub sandwiches.
That sounds tasty. What would you rate the lunch meals from 1 to 10?
Uh, I would probably give like the main options that they have. I
Mhm.
would probably give that like solid 5.
Mhm. What would make them better? What would you add to make them better? Or what would you change? How would you make the meals better if it was up to you and you had no limits and they said, Gabriel's going to be in charge of the kitchen now? What would you do?
Probably let them take more time for making the food, try to make
Okay.
the quality better,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, and give us more options to pick from.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Are there meals outside of the school that you prefer that aren't at home, but there's some place that you go maybe to eat meals that you would like want them to be like that?
Yeah, a couple places.
Mm-hmm.
If we're going based off of like
Yeah.
healthy,
Uh-huh.
probably something like a Subway where
Uh-huh.
you can make your own sandwich or like
Yeah. Okay.
tell them what you want on a sandwich.
Yeah. So having options and making it to your liking, then you would like
Yeah.
it better. That makes sense. I'm hearing a lot of like you like options. You like to be able to choose what you want to eat. And would you say that after you eat the school meal, do you feel full? Like, is it enough for you to get you through the day?
Um, yeah, I feel like it's enough because we eat kind of towards the late end
Mm-hmm.
near 12. So
Yeah,
yeah, I feel like it's enough to get me through the day without being hungry again.
that's good. That's good. I like to hear that. And then do you think that do they pay attention to like the cultural needs of the student body, like your preferences, what you guys like, what you're used to eating at home? Also, are there any vegetarians at your school? Do they have options for people who like, you know, who would like specific types of meals, do you think?
Um, yeah, I feel like they lean towards what we like,
Okay.
and there are one person that I know that's vegan, but
Mm-hmm.
he brings his lunch. But they also do have salads.
Oh, okay. so people can, do you have a salad bar? Or just like prepared salads?
Prepare salads.
Okay. Do you think that during lunch you have enough time to eat with the time they give you?
Yeah, I think we have enough time to eat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you're able to go through the line, no problem.
Yeah, I'm able to go through the line with no problem. No.
That's good. Awesome. And is the dining area, like, is it inviting? Do you want to go in there? Or is it like, oh, I don't want to go in there? Like, does it look clean? Does it look neat?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty clean for serving like every student in the school. It's
Yeah.
pretty clean.
Well, that's good. Is there anything, like, do they have posters in the cafeteria? Do they have any type of, does it look nice?
I mean, yeah, it looks pretty nice. It has windows.
Okay.
It's they got a pattern on the floor.
Okay.
It's pretty
Yeah.
spacious.
Yeah. That's important. There's sometimes we don't notice those things, or I think that when you don't have them, you notice.
Mhm.
You know, is there anything that you would recommend they do to make it more pleasant, or like add anything?
I mean, if anything, I mean, they could add a little bit more color.
Mm-hmm. And then do they ever have any like a suggestion box, or like if you wanted to change the meals or wanted to give your suggestions, do you feel like you have anyone you could talk to, or maybe there's a place that you could go to put in a note?
I'm not gonna say that they have suggestion box,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, you can suggest. I feel like if you wanted to, you could
Yeah.
ask or
Mhm.
suggest.
Okay, because it sounds like they're trying to like provide stuff that you guys might like. If Gabriel, if you were in charge of the school meals, what's something that you would change during lunchtime? It could be something you already mentioned or something else. What would you do?
Um, really just up the quality. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the food. It's just
Yeah.
up the quality.
Okay.
Mm.
Do you cook at home? Do you help your parents cook, or do you cook for them?
I mean, I've done cooked a few things.
Really? What do you cook?
I've done cooked French toast.
Okay.
Oh.
I done did some eggs.
Mm.
And that's really it.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you like cooking?
yes.
Okay. Is there anything that you would want to try, like that you would want to make, that you've
That
seen
I'll
maybe on video,
make.
or yeah, that you're like, I want to try to make that?
Probably some chicken.
What type of chicken?
Um, something spicy. Spicy chicken.
Oh, you like spicy.
hmm
I like spicy too. Do you think, Gabriel, that the school meals are important, and why or why not?
Yeah, I think they're important. I mean, we're getting food because the only time we eat is during snack time, and that's in my second class.
Okay.
So
So
yeah, I think it's important.
what do you think would happen if, like, say you didn't have money for the lunch or whatever, and you forgot to bring your meal? Like, how would that affect, or how would that affect your day? What would you do?
Either um either I mean I probably would be mad or sad, something like that, because I ain't get no food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you think it would affect your ability to like focus in class, or how do you think it would affect you?
Yeah, I think it would affect my ability if I was hungry and I
Mm-hmm.
forgot my money. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have money in my account that day and I didn't know. I feel like I would be, yeah, it would affect my ability to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think there's students at your school that have to go through that maybe they can eat lunch?
I mean, not that I've done heard of, or not that I've really done heard of.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will at least have, like, if they don't have something, people will either give them something, buy them something, something like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So people look out for each other at your school. That's good. That's good. Would you be surprised if I told you that 1 in 5 kids live with not knowing if they're going to have enough food every month?
Yeah, I'll be kind of surprised.
Yeah, those are the actual numbers. There's about 1 in 5 kids who they might have food maybe the beginning of the month, but then it's tight like at the end of the month, so they might not have enough to make it throughout the month. And like across the nation, there's 14 million children who live like that. And like we think there's so much food in this country, right? So how is that possible? So that's why we try to like work in that area and work with leaders like Mel and your school and to make sure that people like all the kids get to eat because some places they don't get enough to eat. I'm glad that your school like looks out for each other. So Gabriel, if you could talk to leaders and like tell them something so that kids wouldn't go hungry, what would you tell leaders to do? You've already mentioned a ton of stuff, and it could be something you already mentioned. Like, what would be your final tip? Like, do this. What do you think it would be?
I mean, just make sure they help out the community as best as they can.
That's good.
I love that. Do you think they should talk to the community and find out like what the community needs?
Yes.
Like we're talking to you.
Yes.
What do you want to? I know you're young, you're 10, but what are you thinking you might want to do when you grow up?
I mean, there's a couple.
That's okay. If
Uh,
you're okay to share, we're definitely interested.
there's a couple career paths.
Okay.
Okay.
Like what's one?
One, kind of passionate about is singing, rapping, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
What's the other one?
Um, businessman maybe, or
Yeah.
foreman.
They kind of go together. We just appreciate you so much for sharing your heart with us and your suggestions. And we just keep up the good work at school. Keep up your business and your rapping. I know you'll be a success. Hey, well, we
My
heard
name
from
is Gabriel.
April. And so now I want to introduce you to one of our youth on the panel, and that would be Gavin Lee.
My
Hello.
name is Gabriel.
Sorry, Gavin.
I got you. Hello, my name is Gavin Lee, and I am one of the students speaking on the conversation of lunch meals. Next slide, please. Outside of being a lunch man, I go to Northrop High School, and I am a senior, class of 2025 in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I also like to watch anime in my free time, and I like weightlifting. Next slide, please. My journey to get here, that's a journey. I started cooking with my mom, like Thanksgiving dinner with my mom when I was 8 years old. The first picture is Jamaican jerk chicken that I made by myself. The second picture is chicken tacos that I made in culinary arts class. And then the bottom picture below is Oreo pudding that I made in nutrition class. What I'm currently doing right now is prepping food, cooking, temping everything, and washing dishes with the big sanitizing machine on the left. My dreams currently is to go to Ivy Tech, get my associate's degree, and become a chef. Thank you for listening.
Awesome. Thank you, Gavin. And there's more questions to come, but I'm going to pass it to Ezekiel. Take it away.
Hello, my name is Zeke, and yes, I go to school here in Sabino ISD. Like Gavin, I'm a senior of the class of 2025. I also serve for our school student council. I'm in NHS. I love drumline, a big part of my life, and band in general. The field captain of it too. I'm a son of two amazing parents, a brother to an amazing sister. 15-year difference, by the way. But yeah, awesome. And an uncle to an amazing niece, godfather to her too. So yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, that's me in my band uniform, and me for prom a couple hours before. Yeah, like you said, or like I said, more insight into drumline, and how important the school means to me. Like, I've gone Sabinal most of my life, just 1 year in Canepa, but going from all the way elementary school to high school, seeing the, of course, staff change, but new people come in and make real change is amazing to see. And also being able to leave a mark after I leave is very important to me. Next up, please. Yeah. Here are some challenges that actually our school conquered. Like, yes, COVID had a big impact, especially variety-wise. It was chicken nuggets almost daily, I'll be honest. Meal quality-wise, it wasn't fresh. It was pre-made. Still, it's better than nothing, but it wasn't enticing. A big part that Miss Kelly over here introduced to us, to our school, is student government involvement, like suggesting menu items or advocating for changes generally and how that cafeteria system works. I remember first getting started, we had some council people meet up, try, like, taste test new food, see what everybody generally likes. And then afterwards too, they sent out forms to tables of normal students and just got their opinions. Newer equipment, we got some new funds, allowing equipment of, say, 1980s, since we've had it. So we can actually, 1985, to use the other side of the serving table. I broke a little while ago. And then another exciting part is lunches for extracurriculars that we have. So, like, let's say going out somewhere for an away game for band. Now it's not just a packed lunch with a sub side of it that's dry. It's like fajita tacos with jello and milk and, like, a full meal that you'd have in the cafeteria. New dishes, one that I've liked so far, and I think it's my favorite. The beef stir fry, has some soy sauce and the rice made differently. Delicious. And also, over the years, free meals for all students, because we have a high enough student participation. I remember in elementary school where parents forget, or we didn't have enough money in our account to continue to pay for lunches. And I didn't really understand it at the time, but I have my ID card scanned and I can't get my lunch. So instead I have to get a PB&J and some milk. And the PB&J was okay, but it still feels you just like you're left out, loaned out. And people noticed, but it didn't seem fair that everybody was going to be like that. And that's the reality with this District 2 is a lot of our students, their households are at or below the poverty line, so having free lunches means a lot to us. And also another newer one is staggered lunch times. So between our district is close, and one cafeteria serves all of it. Little kids in the morning, and I believe they get staggered in. But also middle school and high school are separated now. They used to be combined, and it was crammed. It made it difficult to find. It was hard to find time to eat if you're like towards the back of the line, and you have to stand there for 25 minutes. Yeah, but it's still not perfect, but it's getting close. Ever since COVID, we've had to use plastic trays, the disposable ones, styrofoam, right? And I've noticed that it is a big waste, environmentally wise, but also at a cost that adds over time. And it'd be great to be able to use the dishwashing station again. Ice cream, the kids miss it. There was a day whenever we brought in an ice cream freezer for another concession stand, and all the kids got excited for a second. But again, it had to be moved out of the cafeteria. So, and integrating the culinary program, we haven't been able to do that yet. And we also have a culinary teacher, and it's still getting the culinary program set up still. So it's still difficult to do that. But like Ms. Kelly has said to me, that they plan on doing it next year probably for sure, or the year after that.
We'll let our new teacher get acclimated, and we'll get her involved, and we'll be teaming up.
Yeah, and staffing wise, it's the same, about 4 people that deal with about 300-ish students district wise.
We have 441 students.
441, yeah, elementary, middle school, high school, and they're working all day around the clock. I know that, and I can see them struggle when it comes like Fridays, where you have the cafeteria packets. So for sure, staffing. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you. That's my introduction and the context behind our school.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
Zeke!
Thank you.
Yay. Oh, there's a cheer for Zeke.
Yes!
Great job. And now we're going to pass it to, last but not least, Jada Curd. Take it away.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm using my iPad right now for this because I see myself talking to you guys, but it's okay. Hi, my name is Jada Curd. I am currently a sophomore at Vanderbilt University. I'm double majoring in economics and public policy. And for the past 2 years or so, I've worked as a public speaker and an advocate for school nutrition. So next slide, please. So my slides were set up a little bit different. I did mine in like chronological order. So I grew up in Burt County, Georgia. Burt County is a very, very rural community in South Georgia. But what's special about Burt County is we've had free and reduced price lunch for 35 years. So throughout all of my school life, we've had 100% free lunch, and I grew up with it. And my family definitely was one of those that took advantage of that. And it's always been done very well. Pretty much all the things that I saw, like Zeke list out, for example, changes that were made is things that like we've always had. And we had beautiful cafeterias, all of those things, because we've done it for so long. So here's a picture of me as like a little kid. I was 6 in this picture. I had just started Burt County at this time. And here's a little bit of facts about Burt County. In the picture that's on the bottom, that was my junior year of high school. At that time, I had just started working at my public information office, where I mostly worked in public information, but I worked alongside the school nutrition department as well, because the offices were right beside each other. And I was able to learn a lot about my school nutrition, because I was extremely unaware that there weren't other schools that had 100% free lunch. So I was able to learn more about the way my school's doing it and how we're very unique in that sense. And that picture specifically was taken by a Washington Post editor that was documenting my school and how we're doing our school lunch, or school meals in general. And next slide, please. So here's like a final picture, just a bunch of different pictures. Here and currently I've been public speaking. I've actually been a public speaker for 7 years now, but in high school I did it like competitively, not particularly for school nutrition. But in the past 2 years, just specifically my school nutrition events. So in the top left corner, this is, I might have chopped that title up just a little bit. Along with free lunches, Burke County also offers free breakfast and free dinner and summer meals, which because we're a rural area, we're one of the first counties to have like non-congregate meal styles. So like our school buses would drive out to all the communities in Burke County and give us our meals, which my family definitely participated in those. And that was just me talking about those experiences. In the far right corner is another speech that I just gave recently at an event called Prosper Forum, which I was basically just talking about my experiences with school nutrition. And in the left bottom corner is a picture of my acceptance to Vanderbilt University. And on my t-shirt, I'm wearing, like, it says Thrive Scholars. I'm also a Thrive Scholar, which is basically a nonprofit organization that works with low income minorities and helps us not only like get into colleges, but works with us all 4 years to give us like job opportunities and internship opportunities, things like that. Oh, you know Thrive Scholars? Oh my gosh, that's so good that people know what it is. And then in the far right corner, this is my work with Gen Youth, another nonprofit organization that works to advance school nutrition in the country. I was at the School Nutrition Association annual national conference, and I was speaking on a panel with these wonderful ladies. I'll say right to left. Right is Karen Kafer. Karen Kafer works with Gen Youth. She's the Chief Wellness Officer. In the middle, or I guess not really middle because it's 4, but in the pink shirt, that's Donna Martin. Donna Martin is Burke County Public Schools former nutrition director. I want to say she was the nutrition director for around 50 years. So she was, no, I think I'm wrong. That was not how long that was. But she was my nutrition director for all the years that I grew up. And because her office was right beside mine, she and I got really close. And the third one, she's another nutrition director from a different school, a larger school district. And she's done a lot of work with different grants to make sure that her school district is able to like really, really support their school nutrition program. And the far left, of course, is me. So that's just a little bit about me. And I'm so excited to speak on the panel.
Yay. Thank you so much, Jada. I love that picture of you when you were 6. When I first saw it, I'm like, is that Jada? Oh my gosh. It's so neat to see ourselves just a few years back when we look just so different, right? You look adorable. Thank you all for your presentation and what you've shared so far. Some of the questions that came in ahead of time wanted to know how y'all got involved. So I'll start with Zeke, and then go to Gavin, and then go to Jada. And I'm going to ask the same question, and that is, how did you get involved with the school meals department? Were you like, just tell us a little bit about that. And also there's a question specifically for your school, Zeke, on did Kelly do surveys? How did she get your input? And just tell us a little bit about what that looks like.
Yeah, like I had kind of mentioned before, it started out, well, I started out myself through student government bodies, so student council going from junior high all the way to high school. And at first, I believe she brought up the idea to the high school student council, and she had them hand out surveys, yes, to every single student. They were able to do that. I passed it out to each table, and those kids explained, okay, here's what we would like to see, or you write down what you want to see, any new dishes, anything that you liked, what you enjoy about what they serve, and what you don't like about what they serve at the cafeteria. I believe that more or less answers the question.
Thank you. Gavin, how did you get involved?
So I started off in the culinary arts program at my school, and I went through all 3 of those classes. And after that, an internship opened up that they just started, and so I was offered to apply for it. And after competitive interviewing, I was one of the lucky few that got the job. And that's how I got started into this.
And so just to share with everyone else, so you get paid for actually working in the school meals department at your school. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. That is so great that they work that out. And definitely any questions or follow-up that y'all need, we can connect you to Gavin's district. Jada, how did you get involved?
So I got involved. Mine's more of like a lengthy story. I was working in my public information office, and because I was working with them, I worked a lot alongside the school nutrition department. And through my school nutrition department, I, for one, like helped market, helped advertise. And I also had always grown up with the school nutrition program. So like I really knew how to advertise it in my position. But then I met No Kid Hungry through meeting like one of the representatives. And from that point on, I like started meeting other nonprofit organizations and telling them how I'm a public speaker and how I love to tell my story with school nutrition. Ever since then, I've become like more within like the school nutrition space, understanding like more of the lingo. And that's pretty much how I got here.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. There were other questions that came by, and a lot of people wanted to know which foods do you wish were offered more often? What are your favorite school meals? And do you prefer meals made from scratch? And we'll start with Zeke.
Yes. Meals that I wish would provide more often. Gotta say more culture-based meals, which we do have plenty of Hispanic dishes. That a lot of our school is of Hispanic origin. But like seeing the other day the beef stir fry, it was something kind of new. The kids don't really have the chance to get out and try all of that stuff. And it's new flavors that I don't, like I said, try often. And yes, food from scratch tastes a lot better, especially Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving days, amazing. Plenty of big serving size, a lot of variety. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Gavin?
One meal I would offer more is the dumplings. I think they taste really good, especially when sauced correctly. And I do prefer meals from scratch, even because I like cooking in culinary arts in class and home. So when you can put your love into the food that you're making, it just tastes a lot better.
I like how you said when it's sauced correctly. That's like from a culinary person. You can just tell. Thank you, Gavin. Jada, what about you?
Well, I graduated in 2023, but I'll say what meals I used to like, and I know people still like because they still serve. Burt County has this meal called the Congo chicken. It's just very well seasoned and marinated chicken. And we also have, because we're a rural area, we have a lot of like local produce. So like I always love like our collard greens and our cabbage. I love the cabbage that they give. And in regards to cultural meals, Burt County is very southern, so we have a lot of soul food. We have the cornbread, the collard greens. I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it because they're eating in the house. And the other question was from scratch meals. Okay, and I'd say yes. I know like a lot of Burt County meals are made from scratch. You can tell, especially like the Congo chicken. I feel like there's like maybe a few meals that aren't particularly made from scratch, but the ones that are, you can tell specifically that they are, people like them a lot more.
Thank you so much. Another question that we got a lot in kind of different ways are what are some ideas that you all would have to share with nutrition directors of how would you approach students? How would you get them more involved? What are some strategies that you would use or that you've seen work in your district? Zeke.
Yeah, for sure, it's speaking through the student body. Like the seeing the eyes light up for sure with the student council members at the time. Like finally, hey, this is what we wanted for years, and they're actually finally being asked. And that's what got everybody so enthralled. And let's see, yeah, it just it helps a lot more having the being represented by those people that you've elected, and they're able to finally do something for you. That's the best way that they reached out.
Awesome. So not only reaching out, but listening and implementing what the students say is what I hear you say. That's awesome. Gavin?
Feel like what would help students be more involved is options and let them have like freedom of choice. Like for example, my school just added the pasta bowl, and we have like different types of pastas and different sauces that go with it. Like even though like you wouldn't see like at a restaurant, you wouldn't see this type of pasta with that sauce. Students can still implement that into that. Also, like viral TikToks, like sometimes like we could make see the meals on TikTok and make it like healthier and make it so like they can try it. Thank you for asking.
Awesome. So like tweaking meals. There's another director who she does that where she gets like local, you know, popular items and then in the school meals department tweaks them so that they look kind of the same and they kind of have that same flavor as much as you can. Thank you for sharing that. Jada, what do you think? And even bring in your college experience, because I know food insecurity is not only in, you know, the younger grades, but anything that you would like to share as well as these students get ready to graduate and move to college. Please feel free to share.
Oh, I was gonna ask, like, add in regard to your like getting kids involved question. Just agreeing with what they said, but like one thing that I've talked about a lot is like taste testing or like piloting new meals, like on top of what the other two panelists have said. So like for example, like with Burke County, even if we didn't have like a specific like taste test, which I'd say do taste tests like with like actual school nutrition directors there because you get to know them and like it's like a fun experience. But like for Burke County, like for example, we'd have like when I was in middle school, they piloted smoothies. So they had just started giving smoothies for breakfast. And then soon they like realized that people really like smoothies and like now we have them is like very, very often, especially when I got out of high school. And I'm sure my stuff will apply in like further questions. It doesn't apply as much in that one. But that's like one of my main.
Oh, you put yourself on mute. What was the last thing you said?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So something that you mentioned, like trying something at school and then really liking it and then applying it to your life. I feel like some of the things that I tried in school, I never would have tried if I wouldn't have had them in school. And so that helps also, like Zeke was mentioning, something within your culture you love, and then you see something that's not, but you're like, but it looks really good. I'm going to try it. And so you might not have had that experience if you hadn't tried it at school. So thank you for that. People wanted to know, so I know you guys are doing a lot at your school to like make sure that student voice is heard and things that you want are implemented. What would you tell a nutrition director who the student body wasn't like eating the meals, wasn't touching the meals? What kind of suggestions would you give them? And whoever can answer this, you can go off mute, whoever feels comfortable answering the question.
Oh, I'll go first. If there nobody, okay, I don't know if anybody else is taking it yet. I feel like if that's like happening, you definitely should like ask them. Maybe even like speaking to them directly as school nurses, like maybe like sitting in the dining hall or like having some kind of like survey go out. Something like maybe not something like an email, but like literally like a paper survey that can be anonymous, they can turn in. But like if it goes into an email or something like that, a lot of times people don't read it. But I feel like that would be a really big thing. Or like even like putting up posts like, hey, like what do you want to see different? And like maybe even like listing out ways in which you could change. Like if you're like, look, because sometimes it's really hard to just come up with changes yourself. But if you're like, look, what do you think we should do? Like I know like I think on a previous conversation I had about school nutrition, there's one school somehow they had like a seasoning, I guess it'd be like a cabinet, almost like adjacent to a cabinet, like in their dining hall. So like kids are like able to like season the food like as they want it, because of course like school nutrition parameters don't allow like certain seasonings. Which that was great, and that was a suggestion that kids had. So like if you guys have like specific suggestions, like are you not liking the food? Do you have different recipes? Like what have you liked the most? You're able to see like a common agreement on something. So once you see that common agreement, you see that it's like you can find the recipes that are similar to it. But I think that's just like a few ways to like get in the know about how kids like their school nutrition to change.
Love that. Directly like building relationships with students, talking to them, getting in there. That's awesome. And I think that, like you said, if someone shows an interest and really cares and you know that they're going to do something, I feel like students are more apt to give their opinion. Whereas like if you ask students and then you're like, oh, okay, that was great, but don't implement it, then they'll be like, I don't know, like I don't want to give my opinion this, if they're not going to do anything. So that's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Gavin, did you want to add anything to that, or Zeke? If you don't, that's fine. But if you do, go ahead, Gavin.
I think like she said, interior design is really good. And like if you see a menu item not doing as well as others, I feel like we should bring the other ones back more often because you're wasting money and it's going old and bad. And I feel like you should just be in the know and see your statistics and stick to that.
That's awesome, and that's a good tip. What's working, what's not broke, don't fix it, right? And did you want to add anything, Zeke? No pressure.
Yeah, no, it's very similar where again, the biggest impact is seeing our nutrition director for the first time walk out herself with the cart with the taste testing and be like, hey, you guys want to try this? It was those breakfast options that were completely new to us, scones that I haven't had before. That's what gets your attention right there, then and there. And yes, like Jada mentions, sending them out in an email to the students, like glance over that. It kind of has to be right in their face. But that's whenever you'll have them speaking and talking to you.
Awesome. And yeah, taste testing. Like sometimes you'll look at something and you don't want to try it, but once you try it, if you like it, then you'll be like open to it again. Go ahead, Jada. You were going to say something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, just off what all we were all saying, like if you are making changes and you find like a change that's sustainable for your program, I would also like make an indication that that change was made. So a lot of times like people don't see that. Like for example, like let's say you add a new menu item, you're like, hey, you asked and we answered. Like literally like making a poster that says that, like something adjacent to that, because otherwise, or let's say for example, like you have a suggestion box. You're just like the kids are putting suggestions in, and like even if there are like small changes being made, like a lot of times kids have no idea. Like I know, like even in my school district, like I didn't know how good our school nutrition was until I wasn't there anymore. So you have to make it like very clear, very right in their face. Like, look, we are trying. Here's what we've done. So
That is so
that helps a
true.
lot.
No, that is so true. We used to make fun of our school nutrition food all the time, and we talk about how great it was all the time now that we're out. I had a question for you guys. What are some of the challenges that y'all have encountered, and how have you overcome those challenges working with the school meals department or working with the student body or in the culinary program or as a public speaker, Jada? What are some challenges and how have you overcome those?
Personally, for me, I know that mass producing like a lot of food is hard, especially because I'm used to like cooking like smaller serving sizes and all that. So I see make 900 chicken sandwiches. I'm I'm like confused, and sometimes it's hard to get the count right. And how I've overcome this is to make sure I'm doing the math, make sure everything is prepared correctly in a sound manner.
And that's like a skill you don't think about until you have to do it, right, Gavin? Like you just feel like, well, you just make more, but once you have to do it, that's really different. So you're learning really important skills that you're going to use in your culinary career. So good for you. Who would like to go next?
I'll go. So like I'll use like I have two different challenges. So like in regards to the challenges with my work in the school nutrition department, well, working with the public information office in the school nutrition department. This is in regards to like marketing. I'm sure there's like people on here that are from rural areas. I just wanted to like push this. Advertising in rural communities is really difficult, especially when we have very little internet access, which Burt County does. So like, I know like for us, especially in the age of technology, we had to almost stay like back in time in a sense and send home like papers. There's also like certain ways in which you have to market things like free school meals to where people do not feel like you're like calling them out in a sense. So I know like for us, we like, instead of saying something like, do you need food on top of paper, you'd say something like, free groceries or something like that. If you're trying to give out food, so you're like indicating that it's something that everybody will want. It's not just like, hey, we know you're low income, let us help. Like you don't want to come off like that. So that's just a few of those. And like just really like pushing for you guys who are in rural areas, like stay within like the confines of like advertising with like paper or like sending things home, because internet is such a problem. I know in Burt County there's places that like can't even pay for internet services because we're just so rural. On the other side, the public speaker side, this is slightly adjacent. I think what problems that I've faced is like, even though like I'm telling my own story, making this story like everybody else, like making it like make sense for a lot of people, because like I feel like I'm speaking for like a big cause like school nutrition. And like I feel like with Burt County we're very unique in the way that we did have school nutrition growing up, and that makes my story slightly different. So it makes it like, I guess like a little bit more difficult for me than for somebody else who didn't have like free school meals growing up to push like why it's so important, in the sense that like I wasn't able to like literally see, for example, like my car declining in a lunchroom. That is so like unfathomable to me, which I mean, I still can speak towards it, but it's like, it's a privilege not have to. And as like having the platform that I do, I like to keep in mind all those stories and make sure that like people don't equate my story to everybody else's stories, because we're all so different and the experience is so different. I mean, even from being in a rural area in a city area, like even if they have 100% free and reduced lunch, it's such a different experience for every child. So yeah, those are some of the problems that I've faced.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And that makes it more important to talk to your community and talk to the students like y'all were saying. And Ezekiel?
Yes, some of the challenges that we face over here in Sabinal is like keeping track of what the kids aren't eating. I was mentioned by Ms. Kelly a little bit earlier that there's a station where we used to keep track of student cards and if they got their meal or not. Now we don't have that, and partially because the staff doesn't quite understand it, because I mean it's a complicated computer, and so trying to make sure that that doesn't go to waste is one of the big challenges for us. But also serving the kids in the right amount of time. There's an increase in the amount of class sizes or our class sizes, so the longer lines, shorter class lunch period. So you have to find that balance. And part of the reason why the line was so long is because we had the old equipment, and there's a lot of red tape to get the new equipment in the first place. So you have to advocate for yourself. You have to advocate for the kids. It's not easy, but you have to keep trying fighting. Like the parents and staff understand that, hey, the kids need to be able to eat, but you have to let administration and those parents know, hey, we have a problem here. So that for sure is a powerful tool.
Just listening to all of you speak about like how to look out for the kids and how to look out, like y'all are so young and you have so much experience and you're doing so much already with your lives. Like I just feel so honored to just be able to meet all of you and listen to your stories and listen to how many great suggestions that you have and just all you've done so far. So hats off to all of you. Quick question for Zeke, and then I have one question for everybody. Zeke, somebody wants you to repeat what was in the pasta bowl. What did it include? Is it pre-plated? What's in it?
That one was Gavin.
Gavin, what was in that bowl?
So During our lunches, we serve two types of noodles with that. It's spaghetti and rotini. And then we have the sauces on the heating. It is Alfredo, marinara, and then meatballs.
Thank you for that. And thank you, Zeke, for that correction.
And no, it's not pre-plated.
It's not pre-plated. Okay, cool, cool. The very last question, because y'all have just been firing them off. The last question I wanted to know from all of you is what tips, what suggestions would you give school nutrition directors who are struggling to get youth involved, maybe are struggling to increase their participation? Like, what is your overall lasting tip that you would like to give school nutrition directors who are listening right now? And whoever wants to go can go first, second, and third.
I feel like to involve the youth more, we should have offered the internship to everyone at the school who wanted to apply instead of just the culinary arts students that just passed level 3. Because in level 3, you're going to see more seniors than juniors, like myself, that take level 2 and 3 at the same time. So I feel like if we involved like all of the whole school and they read like the requirements for the job, then we could have had like more staffing for that.
Thank you for sharing.
I'll go next. Okay. Pretty much just asking them, but like not like very actively asking. And this is like, I know, for example, like I think like things like suggestion boxes are like a slippery slope, because it's like, you know, it's there, but if it's not something that the students are used to, it's really hard to get engaged with it and know they're actually like, know that you guys are actually listening. So like, let's say, for example, you guys wanted to start like a school nutrition council, or like you want kids directly talking to you guys. Like I'd put this all in the classrooms. Like I would get all the teachers to say like, hey, the school nutrition department has a survey. They really want to make sure you guys are eating. Like it would like just make it like so in their face, so loud and active that the kids like feel like they have to like I said in the past, like in the earlier questions, like make sure they know what these changes will look like, how it could change, why their voice is wanted. Like make sure they know that like it's not just out of an effort to look like you guys are asking, it's genuinely like we want you guys to eat. So that's just like my main thing. And and after that, I mean, once you have kids actively speaking to you, they will suggest their own opinions of how their school wants to operate. So like we feel like we'd be better, we'd feel better at like we'd feel more, I guess, comfortable advocating for ourselves like this, you know. And because every student body it's very subjective and unique. Like I know, for example, in a rural community, we have a certain way that we have to do things, or like in a city community, we have a certain way that we have to do things. I mean, there's so many different ways to go about it, but I think you definitely have to start with being like actively, we want suggestions, we want change. We know you do too. Make you guys all on the same team and make sure the kids know that you guys are on their team.
Awesome. Thank you. So don't be afraid to be honest. Don't be afraid to say what it is. And you're getting a lot of feedback in the chat. People are thanking you. What an insightful group, inspirational group. Y'all have been so great. Zeke, what are your final tips?
Yes, that Jada is on point. That communication is the key, and accessibility as well. But having her face out there, like actually getting to know her, it's yes, we see the lunch ladies every single day, but it's not every single day that they get to see her. So seeing her trying, advocating for us, that smile means a lot to us. And yeah, she gets into her face when she needs to, and same goes for that student body. Us as a student body government, we go up directly to the kids and say, hey, we want to help you. What would you like to see? That's exactly it. Exactly.
Awesome. Thank you all so much. For everyone who's on the call, don't forget to fill out that survey. For all the panelists, thank you so much. I will send you all a follow-up email on next steps. Thank you so much for your participation. You did so amazing, and we're just really honored to be able to lift up your voices today. You've taught us a lot. Thank you so much. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Bye.